This is Artist Romero from Radio. I want to say thank you for supporting Cosmic Poetry Radio, and I have an announcement to make. New episodes of Cosmic Poetry Radio will be every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. That's 7 p.m. Central Time. Expect new episodes of Cosmic Poetry Radio. You can check us out on YouTube and also on Facebook at Artist Bernie, and also at Jamarius Jones, and also at Cosmic Poetry Sanctuary. I want to say thank you to my friends at Arm in Arm for Climate, at Mississippi Rising Coalition, my friends at Worldwide Access Studios, and you. All right. When we first started out on this journey, we had no idea where we were going. We just knew that we wanted to take peace and love and the people with us. And now we see ourselves in this situation with no place to go but up. So thank you very much for your support. Every Thursday, new episodes of Cosmic Poetry Radio, 7 p.m. Y'all stay close. This is my passion, and the most creative expression that we can pull together. A format to separate facts from feelings so the information flows a little bit better. I've been groomed by the great ones. I do more than just make it rhyme. I make it make sense on a level so there's no doubt in your mind that you heard the truth the first time. That's why I'm able to step out with no fear and know that I can deliver. So less talking unless it's poetry. Don't move unless there's purpose behind it. This is a mental picture developing in front of you, and there's good intentions behind it. My name is Artist Romero, and this is Cosmic Poetry Radio. Welcome back to Cosmic Poetry Radio. It's good to be back in the building, broadcasting live from Worldwide Access Studios. My name is Artist Romero. I want to say thank you to tonight's sponsors, armandarmforclimate.org. Check them out at armandarmforclimate.org, and also Mississippi for a Green New Deal. Want to say a special hello to Miss Jan Hillegas from the Mississippi Green Party, like Uncle Ruckus, no relation to Mississippi for a Green New Deal. Miss Jan, people say some really good things about you when you're not around, just so you know, okay? And also for those of you out there who are curious about the Mississippi Green Party, feel free to check them out. You know, the Mississippi Green Party is made up of people who used to be Republicans, people who used to be Democrats, and left the party for whatever reason because they felt unfulfilled, like a lot of you probably feel. And they took best practices from the Republican Party, and they took best practices from the Democratic Party, and put them together in a brand new lane for innovation, another choice, a third party, and it's the Mississippi Green Party. So check them out. You know, I know some of y'all say out loud, because I've heard you say, man, I wish I had another option. Well, there you go. Not saying you have to go with that, but there you go. My name is Artist Romero, and anyone who is afraid to hear a black man raise his voice, then you should probably get up and walk out. This is a serious conversation, and historically, I've been left out, so I get loud sometimes, and that's how it comes out. Because like I said, this is a serious thing we need to talk about. I'm a symbol for what it's like to be misunderstood. You call me king, even though you say you have to look real close to see the good in me. And sometimes I think you can't see me because, like I said, historically, you haven't listened to me. So we're gonna pretend for a second like these laws in America don't apply equally to you and me. That's reality. After all, me and America, we have history. This is the big history of America, part 2. You stay close. This is Cosmic Poetry Radio.
Okay, we're all equal, but the races do need to remain separate. So the doctrine was known as separate, but equal. They needed that racial hierarchy. They needed that to be written into the law, and they did.
In 1896, a landmark case made racial segregation the law of the land for the whole of the United States.
The Supreme Court say if services are offered equally, it doesn't matter if they're racially segregated. And so you actually see a mushrooming of laws across the North and the South that begins to separate and partition the United States. One world for white individuals, another world for black individuals. And it covers everything that you can think of. Interracial marriage is banned. You cannot work together. You cannot eat together.
We would have a black school and a white school, and we'd have 1 carriage in a railway car and 9 where white people could sit. What I'm getting at here is that it was never equal. And so racial inequality finds new life.
Segregation to the average Negro means being held back. He wants to move forward in the American mainstream. Segregation holds him back.
America was now brutally divided along racial lines.
Racial segregation was humiliating and degrading. You were not one of those individuals who lived in the land of the free.
All of this would have an enormous psychological effect on the African-American population, partly because if you fell foul of particular laws, the consequences would be dire.
Intimidation and violence were used to prevent African Americans going about their everyday lives, and even from exercising their constitutional right to vote.
You could be beaten. Your house could be burned down. You could be lynched.
These are sadistic forms of violence. It's not just the physical oppression, it's the psychological oppression. That the threat of the violence was this long shadow cast over African Americans that conditioned their every move in public.
The most ruthless and notorious organization that rose up during this period was the Ku Klux Klan, who unleashed a reign of terror on the black communities.
The Ku Klux Klan is a terrorist organization.
The mission of the Klan was the preservation of white people at the top of a racial hierarchy.
I told the mayor here if he refused to negotiate the racial issue with the members of the Klan, then we will start an economic boycott against this city.
The Klan actually reaches its greatest power in the 1920s when it has several million followers. It's so powerful that its members are able to march publicly on the streets of Washington, D.C. in front of the nation's capital.
With white supremacist organizations like the KKK and racial segregation enforced throughout the country, equality seemed impossible.
World War II is yet another turning point in this story of African American freedom.
During the war, 125,000 African American soldiers were sent abroad to fight, and what they encountered while serving sparked a revolution.
The experience of being stationed overseas is a moment of enlightenment for many African American soldiers. Be they stationed in Britain or France or Italy, they experienced greater interaction between the races. They fought a war to liberate Europe, and yet they were returning home to a country that didn't bestow the same kind of rights and privileges to people of color. Many veterans, when they return home, seek to push for racial change and reform.
They initiate the Double V campaign. We will fight fascism abroad, and we will also fight racism at home. Really the precursor to what we'll see in the civil rights movement in the 50s and 60s.
An event on the 5th of December, 1955, in Montgomery, Alabama, would become the critical moment in this burgeoning movement.
Rosa Parks decided on that day in December that she would not give up her seat on the bus, as was required by racial segregation laws.
She was arrested and taken to jail, and the outcry in the black community that such a well-known and dignified woman had been jailed sparked the Montgomery bus boycott.
For over a year, African Americans refused to use the buses in Montgomery, and they actually bankrupt the company, forcing them to come to the table to negotiate and to finally end practices of racial segregation on the buses.
Rosa Parks became known as the mother of the civil rights movement, and the Montgomery bus boycott would also place young pastor Martin Luther King at the front and center.
Martin Luther King is the icon of the civil rights movement.
He had a way to connect with the nation, to tell the nation that you are not living up to what you defined yourselves to be.
We will no longer sell our birthright of freedom for the mess of segregated pottage.
The reason that he's so iconic is because of his philosophy of nonviolence. It's an extraordinary radical move to say, we're going to fight this injustice without violence. So that contrast becomes very, very powerful.
Unlike the Civil War just a century earlier, peaceful protest would form the bedrock of the entire movement, which exploded in 1960.
Students bring a vigor and an intensity that hasn't quite been witnessed before.
The student sit-ins are simply an attempt to secure integrated seating at lunch counters across the South.
They begin to occupy spaces where they are told you are not allowed to be. And they say, we're here and we're going to stay.
People would pour drinks over their heads. They were being told to sit quietly, to not retaliate, to do nothing.
They are engaging in acts of non-violent civil disobedience. These students are actually breaking the law.
On February 27, 80 Nashville students were arrested out of over 300.
This is a new radical phase of protest that willing to peacefully defy laws that they can withstand the worst that the white power structure can throw at them. It's that sharper-edged protest that will bring about the civil rights revolution of the 1960s.
By the late summer of 1963, more than 200,000 people marched on Washington.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
They gathered by the Lincoln Memorial, the very place where just 4 decades ago, the KKK had been allowed to protest. Their aim? To push through civil rights legislation and establish job equality for all.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation.
It's at that protest in Washington that King, standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, delivers his most famous speech, the I Have a Dream oration.
But that speech is far more than a dream. It's actually a critique of the United States. He's actually addressing the nation on the 100th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation. Are African Americans free 100 years later after Abraham Lincoln first said, yes, you are free? Martin Luther King says no. The nation has not lived up to that promise. Martin Luther King really understood the potential of the United States, and he pushed the United States to live up to what the founding fathers saw for the nation.
The following year, the Civil Rights Act was signed into law, ending nearly a century of racial segregation. And the Voting Act, guaranteeing African Americans the right to exercise their vote, was passed 12 months later. It had taken over 3 centuries since the arrival of the first slaves in Jamestown to finally address the deep-seated problems that had blighted America.
You finally managed to put together a network of solid citizens committed to putting the community first. Arm in arm is how we move because there is no weak link in this chain. Like a phoenix or a rocket ship, we got Mississippi rising again. Mississippi for a Green New Deal because we have to. We can make this magical blue mystique work in favor of me and you instead of the opposite. You give a cosmic poetry radio worldwide access and nothing can stop this. The country, the community, the culture, the future. This is not the same Mississippi that history's gotten used to.
On Time Mobile Tire Shop Roadside Assistance Services Semi-Truck Jumpstart. Semi-Truck Jumpstart. Semi-Truck Diesel Fuel Delivery. Box Truck Diesel Fuel Delivery. Semi-truck vehicle lockouts. Glad hand seal replacement. Red and blue air line replacement. Green electrical line replacement. Semi-truck and trailer light testing. And electric brake testing. Semi-truck air tank water draining. And air tank PSI pressure build-up. On-time Mobile Tire Shop roadside assistance services. Call 228-235-7342.
Our level of consciousness is begging to be raised. And I've been obsessing over how to provide you with an escape. Unplugged, closer to nature. Throw our spiritual selves out into the universe and see where the good energy takes us. The Cosmic Poetry Sanctuary is a time and space dedicated to the artistic spirit and every time it decides to create. Self-healing, healthy eating, sharing information about what healthy humans need. And when the time is right, a party like you wouldn't believe. Step into the future. Leaving the Matrix has evolved into this. The Cosmic Poetry Sanctuary is a next level social experiment about peace and love. Welcome back to Cosmic Poetry Radio. Thank you once again for tuning in. Want to say thank you again to tonight's sponsors, armandarmforclimate.org. Check them out at armandarmforclimate.org and also Mississippi for a Green New Deal. We're getting you ready for February at the Van Cleve Public Library. We're going to have a Black History presentation and we're going to focus on the relationships between Black people and Indigenous people in South Mississippi. It's a conversation that you don't want to miss. My name is Artist Romero, and it's about that time to celebrate the season that sets us apart from the rest of the world. I'm talking about Mardi Gras. Some believe that Mardi Gras is attached to a much older pagan holiday called Saturnalia that was celebrated as far back as 130 BC. You see, Mardi Gras begins on the Feast of Epiphany, that involves parades and excess consumption that ends, ironically, on Fat Tuesday, the day before Ash Wednesday, that leads into Lent, a time of fasting for those who participate. And that's followed up by a feeling of rebirth and rejuvenation at Easter, quite possibly the most important holiday on the Christian calendar. So this is an invitation from executive producer and writer Elaine Stevens from Stevens Media Production. This is Come to Mardi Gras. You stay close. This is Cosmic Poetry Radio.
It's a Mardi Gras thing. Mardi Gras is the love of life. It's the blend of cuisine and quirkiness, creativity and community, and music. Lots of music. And of course, celebration. Mardi Gras is in our soul here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and it has been for generations. Over the years, millions have donned the masks, stood on the parade routes, and celebrated the carnival season. Thank you. And we want you to do the same. Come to the Mardi Gras and have an extraordinary experience. Of course, you'll enjoy it even more if you understand what it's all about. From the colors to the costumes, the parades to the floats, from the tableau to the royalty, and of course, the cruise to the king cake. So, laissez les bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll. Mardi Gras history is as rich, baroque, and eclectic as those who have celebrated Carnival through the centuries. A form of Mardi Gras actually dates back thousands of years to pagan spring and fertility celebrations in ancient Greece and Rome. It is believed the first American Mardi Gras took place on March 3, 1699, when French explorers Pierre Le Moyne d'Iberville and Jean-Baptiste Le Moyne-Sieur de Bienville landed approximately 60 miles south of present-day New Orleans, Louisiana. They held a small celebration and called their landing spot Point du Mardi Gras, French for Fat Tuesday. It occurs before Ash Wednesday, when Christian Lent, a period of fasting before Easter, begins.
12th night, the night before the Epiphany on January 6th, is the end of Christmas season. And here, it's marked by turning off the holiday lights at the Biloxi Lighthouse. This signifies the beginning of the carnival season, culminating with Mardi Gras Day, which changes yearly depending on the date of Easter. On the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Mardi Gras balls and parties have been going on since the 1880s. And although a lot has changed since then, what hasn't are the colors: purple, green, and gold. Now, we'll all agree that Mobile held the first Mardi Gras celebration, and New Orleans, of course, the largest and the loudest. But here on the Gulf Coast, we have more spirit, and we add more sparkle to the carnival season. It's part of our coast culture for the last 100 years.
Mardi Gras is all about history, and no one knows that history quite like Susan Hunt. She's a coast celebrity, the president of the Coastal Mississippi Mardi Gras Museum. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to be here today.
Well, wonderful. Your grandfather is what I learned is a really big part of the coast history. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, ma'am. History notes that the Mardi Gras cast a spell on my grandfather. That would last for a lifetime because he sowed the permanent seed for the Mardi Gras celebration for the city of Biloxi and the entire Gulf Coast.
You are so enthusiastic. I just love being here with you. Now, you told me that the first Mardi Gras celebration was in 1908, like official Mardi Gras celebration was in 1908. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, ma'am. I wasn't alive during that time, but I can tell you what I know about history, okay? So, it was 1908. They had 17 floats, 150 flamboyant carriers, and it had a new 12-piece Herald newspaper band, a grand marshal, mayor, and councilman. Leading the parade, though, was a live white steer with gilded horns. In 1916, a charter of incorporation entitled the Biloxi Carnival and Literary Association. And that's how the Mardi Gras became firmly established. And it was interrupted, though, during the Depression. But it was solely a Biloxi event now until 1929, when other coast cities were invited to join. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I'll share this with you, okay?
Do tell.
All right. In about 1949, the Biloxi Carnival Literary Association was changed to be the Gulf Coast Carnival Association.
Which is what we know of
yes,
today.
Ma'am. That's what we know as today. The Gulf Coast Carnival Association, anyone in the community along the Gulf Coast, or even if you're a visitor and you want to join the Gulf Coast Carnival Association and come back for the events, you can do that. That's all you have to do.
Anyone can?
Yes, ma'am. Anyone can be a member of the Gulf Coast Carnival Association. So it's not just a selected group. Anybody can be a member of the Gulf Coast Carnival Association. Are you a member?
It sounds like I'm about to be.
You're about to be a member. We'll send you a membership. You pay and you can participate in everything.
Susan, I just love you. I have one more question for you.
Okay.
Were you ever queen?
Was I ever a queen? Well, ma'am, not until today. And I am Queen Ixalev, which is Biloxi spell backwards.
Mardi Gras is celebrated in all of the coastal cities, with each of the cities having their own celebrations. It's like a gigantic jigsaw puzzle of celebrations and all of the different people and the pieces and words like throws, floats, doubloons, king cakes, kings, queens, courts, and crews. K-R-E-W-E-S. Crews. Instrumental in the coordination of it all are the crews of Carnival. Joining me now is Ann Geist. She is a member of the crew of La Masqué. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Why is crews spelled with a K?
Well, it's Old English, and Mardi Gras is full of traditions, and so's Old English.
So tell me then, what is a crew?
A crew is a fabulous organization, a social organization. Each crew has a different set of bylaws and a constitution. We have female crews, we have male crews, we have couples crews. I belong to the oldest ladies organization on the Gulf Coast, the entire Gulf Coast, and that is La Masqué.
And it's the oldest. How old is it?
We will celebrate our 100th anniversary next year, 2023.
That's incredible.
Yes.
That women have had their own organization.
Yes, before the men.
That's amazing.
We were the first. And we do, it is entirely a social function. The bylaws are written by the members. We have different groups in each of our crews. And our organization is famous for its selection of group costumes.
Oh, all about the costumes. So does this coordinate with a theme? I've been hearing about themes.
It does. It does. And the elected officers that year, particularly the ball chairman, select the theme. The members of the crew do not know the theme of the organization's ball that year. So when we show up in August for our run for the costume, we are very surprised to learn what the theme will be.
What is the run of the costume? This sounds really intriguing.
The run for the costume is quite a challenge. You show up for a business meeting.
Okay.
The group leaders parade, they actually put on a fashion show for us, and they're modeling the different group costumes, which we have never seen. And then at the blow of a whistle, guess what? You literally run for the group you would like to be a part of. So you select that group based on your costume.
Oh, wow. This really is fun.
It is crazy fun. It is crazy fun. You would never, ever miss that meeting.
Well, I think I just want to participate. What do you think?
I think you should. Try a costume.
Dating back to ancient times, elaborate masks have been part of the Mardi Gras garb. The purpose? To protect the identity of revelers, the men who would travel door to door to sing and dance and beg for offerings to make the communal gumbo. Today, masks are worn by some crews to protect the identity of members and revelers and ball attendees. There's so much mystique when it comes to Mardi Gras, but none more than the selection of royalty. We're joined now with Your Majesty Keith Williams. He's the former king of the Gulf Coast Carnival Association, 2018?
2018, yep.
This is such an honor. Is this your throne?
That is my throne. It's the throne that's used by the organization, and it's passed down from king to king to be used each year. So why don't you have a seat and see what it feels like to be royalty?
Wow! This is amazing! Who gets to do this? This is fabulous.
That's
wow.
great.
Well, Your Majesty, how does one go about, how do you become king?
Well, it's first of all, you're elected by the board of the organization, and they look at someone that has been involved in Mardi Gras over the years, somebody that's really got a family legacy in the organization, and I guess I fit that bill. I've got a long legacy with my father being lieutenant and captain of the organization. He was a duke. My brother-in-law have been Dukes. My nieces and nephews have been pages and flag bearers. My sons have been pages and flag bearers. I've been a Duke. I've been a captain of the organization. I'm now chairman of the board. So they look for legacy, and I guess because of my family history, I fit the bill and had the honor of being elected in 2018 as King D'Iberville.
That's amazing. I just can't believe that. It's almost like a rite of passage for your family.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. In the Williams family, you grow up being involved in Mardi Gras and knowing that you're going to be involved. So it's a long history.
Now, did you ever wear masks?
Did not wear a mask, do not. So King D'Iberville does not wear a mask, or Queen Ixcheliv does not wear a mask, but we utilize the mask in the presentation of our royalty at times because of the mystique and the mystery and those things. I think it's very important that we keep that going.
I love it. I love the mask. I think it's fun. So tell me, what was your favorite memory from being king?
Wow, that's kind of hard to narrow it down to one thing, 'cause there's so many things that you do. People don't understand that Mardi Gras is just not on Fat Tuesday. It's a year-round event, and all the great things of getting to know your royal court, the organization, the members, the sponsors, but probably the most important thing on all of this is Parade Day. And the thing that I love most about it was Parade Day. You know, there's 75 to 100,000 people on the streets of Biloxi waiting for you to roll down the streets, and it's just a big party, and giving back to the community is great. One of the parts in the parade, we have a special section for special needs children and adults, and the parade stops there, and King D'Iberville and Queen Ixcheliv get off their floats and hand them beads and toys and stuffed animals and those things. And when you hand them a bead, you would think that you're giving them a diamond necklace. They're so appreciative, so thankful. I get chills thinking about it myself. So yeah, it's tremendous.
I have chills right now.
Yeah.
It's so neat. You know, I'm from the Gulf Coast. I was never on the royalty fleet so far. But I always remember going and seeing the tableaus, and that's what I think of when I think of royalty. Tell the viewer, what exactly is a tableau?
Yeah, actually the tableau for us is held on Monday night at the Coliseum, and the tableau is the formal presentation of the royalty to our sponsors in the community. So the community can come and watch that, and it's a formal presentation so that we introduce our maids, our dukes, our queen, and our king. So the tableau is, this is who we are and this is who our royalty is. We're doing this for you, sponsors, and you, the community. It's a formal presentation of the royalty.
You finally managed to put together a network of solid citizens committed to putting the community first. Arm in arm is how we move, because there is no weak link in this chain. Like a phoenix or a rocket ship, we got Mississippi rising again. Mississippi for a Green New Deal because we have to. We can make this magical blue mystique work in favor of me and you instead of the opposite. You give a Cosmic Poetry Radio worldwide access and nothing can stop this. The country, the community, the culture, the future. This is not the same Mississippi that history's gotten used to.
On Time Mobile Tire Shop. Roadside Assistance Services. Mounting and Balancing. Fuel Delivery. Emergency Mobile Tire Shop. I-10 Mounting and Balancing Tires. On the highway service. Can fix your flat tire on the road. We service customers' home location. Battery jumpstart, vehicle lockouts, flat tire repair. Call 228-235-7342 or Google On Time Mobile Tire Shop.
Our level of consciousness is begging to be raised. And I've been obsessing over how to provide you with an escape. Unplugged, closer to nature. Throw our spiritual selves out into the universe and see where the good energy takes us. The Cosmic Poetry Sanctuary is a time and space dedicated to the artistic spirit and every time it decides to create. Self-healing, healthy eating, sharing information about what healthy humans need. And when the time is right, a party like you wouldn't believe. Step into the future. Leaving the Matrix has evolved into this. The Cosmic Poetry Sanctuary is a next level social experiment about peace and love. Welcome back to Cosmic Poetry Radio. Thank you once again for tuning in. Broadcasting live from Worldwide Access Studios. Want to say thank you to 2Dub for being the most consistent producer on the planet. My name is Artist Romero, holding it down for the home team, and dig this. I was cast in the part of soul music. You could see the focus in my eyes. I mean, this could change my career. It's the role of a lifetime. I mean, all the big name cats audition, but I was born to play this part. I'm all nervous and anxious, waiting for the filming to start. You see, I memorized every line. I even scripted my ad-libs. I've been working out for this role, because I plan to give all I can give. And through me, soul music will live again and play in every city. Stories told through fiction and non-fiction and artistic creativity. This is the movie teaser, the trailer from Aquila Scales. This is A Frantic Love, Part 4. You stay close. This is Cosmic Poetry Radio.
They didn't beat you. I did. He's all yours, Detective.
Welcome back to Cosmic Poetry Radio, broadcasting live from Worldwide Access Studios. Look for my face and my work inside of A Frantic Love Part 4. Want to say thank you to tonight's sponsors, armandonforclimate.org. Check them out at armandonforclimate.org. Go to the website and sign the climate pledge, please and thank you. Also want to say thank you to Mississippi for a Green New Deal. And also tonight's content provided by Elaine Stevens from Stevens Media Productions called Come to Mardi Gras, and also The Big History of America. My name is Artist Romero, and I imagine your only emotion to be intrigue. You being the all took the time to think about me, and that is so flattering. You see, I am the needle in the ever-expanding haystack. And since energy and mass are two expressions of the same thing, and reality doesn't exist until light brings it to be, what I'm trying to ask you with a mouthful of metaphors is, can you see me? This is Cosmic Poetry Radio. Y'all have a good day. Peace. This is my passion, and the most creative expression that we can pull together. A format to separate facts from feelings so the information flows a little bit better. I've been groomed by the great ones. I do more than just make it rhyme. I make it make sense on a level so there's no doubt in your mind that you heard the truth the first time. That's why I'm able to step out with no fear and know that I can deliver. So less talking unless it's poetry. Don't move unless there's purpose behind it. This is a mental picture developing in front of you, and there's good intentions behind it. My name is Artist Romero, and this is Cosmic Poetry Radio.
Worldwide, we worldwide. All you gotta do is just tune in. Tune in to Worldwide Access. Worldwide, we worldwide. All you gotta do is just tune in. Tune in to Worldwide Access. Worldwide, we worldwide. All you gotta do is just tune in.
This is Artist Romero from Cosmic Poetry Radio. I want to say thank you for supporting Cosmic Poetry Radio, and I have an announcement to make. New episodes of Cosmic Poetry Radio will be every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. That's 7 p.m. Central Time. Expect new episodes of Cosmic Poetry Radio. You can check us out on YouTube and also on Facebook at Artist Bernie, and also at Jamarius Jones, and also at Cosmic Poetry Sanctuary. I want to say thank you to my friends at Arm in Arm for Climate, at Mississippi Rising Coalition, my friends at Worldwide Access Studios, and you. All right. When we first started out on this journey, we had no idea where we were going. We just knew that we wanted to take peace and love and the people with us. And now we see ourselves in this situation with no place to go but up. So thank you very much for your support. Every Thursday, new episodes of Cosmic Poetry Radio, 7 p.m. Y'all stay close.